forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up because it does help a lot, and follow me on social media if you don't already. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be doing a first trimester update. Before I get started, let me explain to you all the noise going around me in case you can hear it, because I tried to wait and I'm running out of time because Sissy's gonna wake up from her nap soon. I have to finish putting laundry away. So much things on my to-do list, but we have the cars going on in the background because I do live near a street. We have lawn mowing as well. They've been mowing the lawn for God knows how long. I don't know what they're mowing out there. And then we have Sissy's music playing because she's taking a nap and I have to be able to hear her, and so I have her music playing in my Google Nest, where with the Google monitor that I can watch her through. Not a Google monitor, but a camera, Google camera. You'll also see me sipping on water because I get out of breath quite often, so I need my water. And then I have everything on my phone, and so if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my phone with all my notes. But today I am 16 weeks, very thankful to have made it this far. If you're new here, you know that I miscarried back in February. Yes, February with baby number 3. I had to undergo a DNC, and it was literally the most devastating thing I've ever experienced in my life. There's nothing like wanting something so much, having it, and then getting it taken away. And so as you can see, I still get a little emotional about it, but I have promised myself that I have to never forget but move forward for my sanity and for the baby that I am growing in my belly. This time, new pregnancy, new outcome. Let's get into when I found out and all the things that happened during the first trimester. And so I found out on week 5. I always find out pretty early. With Alyssa, I was 3 weeks pregnant, to the point where I had to take 8 pregnancy tests, at-home tests, and they were all positive, and the doctors were like, I have no idea how that's coming out positive because it's really early. And so by the time that I got into a doctor's, I couldn't get in until I was 8 weeks pregnant, and they confirmed that I was pregnant. So I always find out early. With Aaliyah, I found out week 4. It was the week I was supposed to get my period, a few days before my missed period, and something told me I was pregnant. Actually, with Aaliyah, I remember eating my favorite sandwich, which might not be a sandwich to most, but I'm Hispanic and we eat Cuban bread with ham in it, and it's my favorite sandwich. That's all I need. Cuban bread. I'm not Cuban, but Cuban bread and ham. That's literally all I need. And I went to make myself one, and I bit into it, and I was disgusted by it, and I was like, I am pregnant. I remember waking Alyssa up, running to Target, driving to Target like fast, coming back to take a pregnancy test, it being positive, and then getting in the car because at the time I babysat and had to pick up the baby boy that I babysat at school by a certain time, and the test was positive. It all happened within 20 minutes, and I was like, holy camole. That was with Aaliyah, which is my second baby. She's my youngest girl. This time it was the day that I was supposed to get my period, and I was like, let me just take it, even though it had been late. Not really. My period is usually on time, but it'll come out later in the day. And so that day I was just like, let me take this test, let me just, you know, see. And it was positive, sure enough. And so that was July 17. I found out I was pregnant with baby number 3, July 17. I was in shock, I was surprised, I was excited. I think Anthony felt all the same things. We left it in God's hand. We weren't technically trying, but we also weren't preventing. And so if it happened, it happened, and it sure did happen. He is definitely a COVID baby. If you follow me, you know that Anthony and I did get COVID, and that's when we conceived, while we were sick with COVID. So that is that. Definitely a COVID baby. But week 5, my first appointment was on July 22nd. So definitely just a few days afterwards. it was the same doctor's office that did my DNC, so they knew that I had miscarried before. They wanted to bring me in just to calm my nerves, and I went a few days later. When I went, I was 5 weeks and 1 day. So technically when I found out, I was 4 weeks and some change. When I went in, I was 5 weeks and 1 day. They did do an ultrasound at 5 weeks. You guys saw that in the previous video. They could not find much because it was so early that they literally just saw the tiniest little thing. And they were like, well, let's just take some blood so that we can see your, I forgot what they're called, some sort of levels, your, you know, your hormone levels, or I literally cannot remember, but it is your levels to see HCG levels. I literally cannot remember, but it's just blood that they take to see if you are pregnant, and then they want those numbers to double at a point. So I took the blood test on that day, on July 22nd, and then I went back on, I think it is HCG levels. I went back 2 days later to take more blood, and they wanted the blood levels to double between those 2 days. And so that is what I did, and my blood pressure was high that day, mainly because it was my first appointment, and my nerves are always high when I go to the doctors, and my blood pressure is always high. So she was cracking up because they did it at the beginning. The nurse was cracking up because I did it at the beginning of the appointment and then at the end of the appointment, and it was like a 15-20 minute appointment, and by the end of the appointment my blood pressure was like total nowhere. She was like, that is crazy. I was like, yeah, I know. And so that is what they did. They also told me that I could not do my HIIT workout. When I first found out I was pregnant, I was doing HIIT workouts every single day with a group of friends, and that had to stop as soon as I found out I was pregnant. And so that is what I did. Download the app called Baby to Body, and it's a different little postpartum pregnancy workouts that you can do. And I did start them for a few days, then I got scared and stopped, but I do plan to restart those in the mornings. My first symptoms happened, oh ouch, July 22nd, and it was the day after my appointment. I was just really tired. I had my first cravings, and we picked a girl's name. If I was so convinced that it was a girl, like, you could not tell me it was a boy. I was like, it's a girl. I wanted a boy, so I kept telling myself it's a boy, but I was convinced that it was a girl. And so if it would have been a girl, her name would have been Elena Haven Gallon. And Elena, because both girls are named A names because of Anthony. And now I hear myself, I have like an echo, I don't know what is going on, but my ears are popping. It was Elena Haven Gallon, Elena A for because of Anthony, Alyssa and Aaliyah have A names because of Anthony as well. Haven because she was my little piece of heaven after having a miscarriage, and then her last name, our last names are Gallon. So that was gonna be her name, Elena Haven Gallon, my little safe place. But she turned out to be a boy, or it turned out to be a boy, so that is a name that I'll never get to use because this is the last baby that we will have. My cravings at the time at 5 weeks were cheeseburgers, hot dogs, fries, and s'mores. I never ate a s'more because by the time that I went to go get it, I didn't want it anymore. And so that never happened, but I did indulge in cheeseburgers and fries, and was the same cravings I had with Aaliyah. And then I ate hot dogs for like 2 days, which I also craved with Aaliyah, which was also like, yeah, it's a girl. Like, it has to be a girl. I'm craving the same thing. But then on week 6, I did a third HCG level test because they wanted me to go back because my first and second, and they are called HCG levels, I had written it down, because my first and second tests weren't quite what they wanted it to be. My first test was at a, I think it was like at a 6,000 or something. I forgot to write it down, but it wasn't exactly what they wanted. I hadn't quite doubled, and so they made me come in for a third HCG level test my levels went up in healthy increase and came back at a 22,400. And so that kind of like settled my nerves, because when they called me to tell me I had to go back for another blood test, I was like, Anthony, we need to prepare ourselves. And so that was it. On week 6, I craved, what did I crave? Rice Krispies cereal, which I still have 2 boxes here because I stopped craving it and stopped eating it, but it's one of my favorite cereals, Rice Krispies cereal, and Hispanic food. So I'm from Nicaragua, and we have a main dish that we love, and I craved it all the time. It was hard to get because I live 45 minutes from the closest place that sells it, which is Miami. But I did go home to my mom, I think once for something, and I did order it. But it wasn't in my first trimester. I did wait for my second trimester. Was it? Yeah, I think. I can't remember. But I did crave it a lot. Didn't get it as often as I craved it, but that is okay. I did get all day on stomach unsteadiness. So I never threw up in week 6. I actually didn't throw up until week 8. The day I turned week 8 weeks is when I threw up. But before that, I was having all day stomach unsteadiness, and I was drinking hot lemon water in the mornings. I was using my Diagize roller in the mornings, and I would roll it on my stomach, and that helped. Diagize roller is just essential oils with Diagize essential oil from your living mixed with a little bit of peppermint oil into a roller with a carrier oil. Mine was coconut oil that I would put in there, and I put it in a little roller, just roll it onto my stomach mornings, day and nights, and in between the day while I ate, like right after I ate and was so uncomfortable. That is what I would do. I also would put lavender and peppermint oil on my wrist for a little pick-me-up, because I was just so tired and so exhausted. This has literally been the most exhausting pregnancy I've had yet. Also the worst with nausea, like the complete worst. I do not know why, but it has been. I was also gagging but not throwing up, and then I was extremely tired all day, like I just mentioned. But it was bad at the beginning. Like my tiredness was out of this world, and it usually is always out of this world, but this was even worse than with the girls. And so on week 8, well, the day before I turned 8 weeks, so on 7 weeks 6 days, I got sick for the very first time. I bit into a hot dog, and baby boy was like, what the heck is this, mom? Absolutely not. And immediately got sick. And I was like, well, here comes the fun ride. I usually get sick until about 20 weeks, 25 weeks. And so it does last a while for me. But this time I decided to drink nausea medicine, or take nausea medicine. I didn't with the girls. With the girls, I dealt with it. But there's a difference. With Alyssa, I was a first-time mom. I worked, but I didn't have to take care of anyone else but myself, really. And then with Aaliyah, I had a little one, but I would just snuggle her when I felt bad, and it was okay. This time I have 2 plus virtual school, and I need to have my energy and be up and out of bed as often as I can. And so I opted to take nausea medicine this time. They put me on diclegesis, I think it's what it's called. Well, they gave me something called Bunjusta the first week. There were samples, and the Bunjusta is just like it's a different, I guess, a different nausea medicine, and you only take 1 tablet every 12 hours, so usually 2 a day, and it's more expensive. And so they gave me samples of that the first couple, I think the first 2 weeks. They gave me that as a sample, and then they put in my prescription for diclegesis, which is like the generic brand that they use, and the dose is not as high, and so you can take up to 4 a day. And so I take 1 in the morning, in the morning like at noontime, and then I would take 2 at night. But what I realized is that when I was taking 2 at night, I was extremely tired in the morning, a lot more tired than when I took only 1 at night. And so I started taking 1 at night, and so that I can you know, feel better, feel kind of myself in the morning. But nausea medicine does make you tired. It's supposed to make you tired because it trains your brain to kind of shut down so you are not as nauseous. And so that's what it does. But usually now at the moment I take one in the morning, like 9 in the morning, and then I'll take one like around 1, and then I take one like at 6 or 7 before dinner. Decledgesis you take on an empty stomach. Benjesta I was taking with food. But I don't know if my body got immune to it, or the baby got immune. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't always work, and so I get sick still quite often. I also have tried weaning myself from it twice and decided I'm not going to wean myself anymore, just because when I do, now I have hiccups, when I do, I'm really sick, like really sick. And so I'm like not functioning, and I need to function because I have a 1-year-old, I have a 4-year-old that's doing VPK virtually, and then my house needs me. I mean, there's been days where this house looks like I've been robbed because I feel so bad. And so that is camera shut off, but that is what I'm doing. I'm taking nausea medicine. There goes Anthony, 1 second. Okay, Anthony called and I had to take the call, but he's on his way home, so now we have to do this even faster because he's gonna come home to a very messy kitchen and clothes that I'm folding on the bed. I don't even remember what I was saying. Okay, I think I was on like week 7 at the end, right? When I got sick. Yeah, when I got sick, and Benjesta and all the stuff. So I'm on Decledgesis now. I actually got sick really bad yesterday. I had 3 days of like non-nausea and not taking my medicine, and so I'm like, oh, we are on the uppity up of things. Like, I'm going into week 16, you know, maybe this baby's gonna give me a break since he's been a lot harder, but no. So now I am on Benjesta. That's a little, I'm giving you guys a little 16-week update. I'm actually going to go get it today, but I am taking my Decledgesis today, and so I probably won't start that until tomorrow. I think I stopped there. What else happened? Oh, only one more thing happened. Then the last major thing that I was experiencing was headaches, like really bad headaches, and dizziness with my headaches. My headaches are more like migraines, and I don't experience migraines very often, and I can take being sick pretty well. 2 things take me out when I'm sick: throwing up and having a headache I can't get rid of. And so when I was having these migraines, I felt like my head was going to explode, and at the same time I was dizzy, like I wasn't myself. And so I did know that water was a thing, because I don't think I mentioned that, or maybe I did. I hated water, and I think I mentioned that on my Instagram during my 16 weeks. So during my first trimester, so during my first trimester, I think maybe 8 or 9, I realized that I hated water. He did not like water. And so even like my filtered water from my fridge, I would pour water in there and have Anthony taste it, and I was like, does that taste weird to you? And he was like, no honey, no babe, it's literally the same water. And I was like, no, it's not the same water. And so I hated water, like I could not keep it down. And so I started drinking lemon water, and that would do well it did well for a while. And then baby was like, no mom, no, don't like the sourness of the lemon, take it out. And so now we're in room temperature water, because ice water is not it either. I don't know why, because I miss it, but ice water right now is not it either. Like absolutely not at all. And so we are onto room temperature water, and I figured, okay, maybe my headaches and my migraines are coming from me not being, you know, not drinking as much water as I should, because I don't want to throw up, I don't want to get sick. So why would I do that to myself, right? And so I was just having really bad migraines. I ended up asking the doctor what was going on. He was like, you're probably not getting enough water, you're not eating as much as you should be eating, or you're not getting enough sleep. And so I put 2 and 2 together, and I was like, well, I think it's the 2 tablets that I'm taking at night, even though he was telling me that I could take 2 tablets at night to hold me off like a longer time in the morning. And I have to wake up at the same time every day, so I'm up at 6:30 in the morning every day to get myself ready before I get Alyssa ready for school and make her breakfast and all that stuff. And so I just don't think my body was getting enough sleep that it needed for 2 tablets, and then that made me for 2 tablets at night, and so that made me a lot groggier, more headaches. I wasn't taking naps during the day as I should have, because 2 girls, a house that needs me, I have to work, just a lot of things. And so I think that is what was causing my migraines and my dizziness. And so I started drinking more water. I bought this cup, started drinking more room temperature water, carry this with me everywhere. I also have a little bit of caffeine from soda once a day, and that helps. I am a very big Coca-Cola drinker. I always have been. I actually have ended up in the hospital when I was a lot younger because of the amount of caffeine. It was messing with my heart, and I stopped drinking it for 2 years and then got back on it and kind of just learned how to control it, but it's not the best thing for me. And so when I'm pregnant, I still drink soda. I don't let anyone tell me that I can't. I will drop the coffee in a heartbeat, but soda is a lot harder for me to drop. And so I haven't had Starbucks, I haven't had coffee since 5 weeks pregnant when I found out, and then I stopped drinking soda for a while as well. But now I need it. I need at least a little bit a day just for the headaches, like just for the headaches, that's it. Even if it's a sip, it does help. Some days I don't need it, but when I feel it coming, I drink a little bit of soda and then I'm okay. Then I'll drink room temperature water all day long. And I know that you can have coffee, but at least for me, when you put soda and coffee, I'd rather take the soda because I'm just a bigger soda drinker than I am a coffee drinker. And so that is what I did this time. This time I am also doing a lot more by the book things because of my miscarriage. I don't want to miscarry again, and so I'm just trying to do things by the book a lot more. So I try either to eliminate caffeine at all, or just have that little bit of sip of soda that I need, because the doctor did say that I could have caffeine and that it would be okay for me to have some soda. So that is what I'm doing. That is what my first trimester has been like. Nothing, no bigger. Oh, my prenatals. I am taking prenatals from the moment that I got a positive test. I popped that prenatal in and I've been taking them. I'm actually taking Ollie prenatals. I take the tablets throughout the day because the tablets are really big, and so you're supposed to take 2 with food, but I'll take like 1 with breakfast and 1 with lunch or dinner, or 1 with lunch and 1 with dinner. At some point during the day I take my prenatals, and I've been taking them separate because the tablets are humongous and they do make me want to throw up initially when I first drink them. It doesn't like upset my stomach or any of that, but I do 1 day on, 1 day off, and the day that I don't take it, I just take regular women vitamins that I shared with you guys on Instagram. They're the Ritual vitamins, and so that has helped. And the reason I do 1 day on, 1 day off is because my prenatals have iron in them, and so iron actually makes you constipated, and so it's not always good to take them every day. So I take my prenatals 1 day on, 1 day off. That has been working for me, and I have never been constipated with any of my kids at all, and so that is a good thing. But that is my first trimester update. I am going to try and do more week by week updates, maybe either every 2 weeks or maybe every week, I don't know. I am going to do a 13 to 16 week update for you guys at some point soon. But this was my first trimester update. If you have any other questions on anything during my first trimester, I will answer them for you. Just leave them down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up because it does help a lot, and follow me on social media if you don't already. I will see you in my next video. Bye.